Hi, welcome to my channel, Crafty Come Lately. I'm going to talk about closures for mini albums and junk journals. Just what I've learned so far, but of course there's much more to learn because I'm fairly new, and but I just want to share what I've learned so far because I feel like it's in different videos out there. There's basically simple ways to cinch your book, and really you would only need to cinch your book if it becomes a little chunky, a little thick. If the book lays pretty flat like a regular book, you really wouldn't have to tie it down. Like if you wind up sitting it and it just sits there and nothing flops open and it's not thicker than the spine, then you're pretty good. You wouldn't even need to tie it down. Like this one lays pretty flat. But the easiest way to cinch it up is using seam binding or a ribbon or whatever it would be to tie it up. And I'm just going to scoot that over so I can be in camera shot. And this is seam binding. It looks like it's tea dyed, and it could be, but it happens to be Tim Holtz vintage photo distress ink pad that I just diluted with water in a cute little tray and dunked it in there and just let it dry afterwards, and so it has that kind of tea-dyed look. So that's the easiest way to do it. You can do the exact same thing with elastic, and it can either be already a hairband that's pre-done, or it could be a string that you cut, and this happens to be also dyed with the Tim Holtz Distress ink pad, watered down and dipped into it. So same idea, but this is there's different widths and different lengths. I think this is about 1 yard. I don't know if this is 1/16 or 1/8 inch thick, but I think I got it at Walmart for less than $1, about $1. And it just comes in a long string, and I don't know why it's not handy. Here, I have it right here. So it just comes in a long continuous string, and you just cut whatever you need, and you would just, you would just wrap it around. So in this case, I wound up also putting it into a bow, but you could just do a double knot. And I also did a little bow charm hanging from there. Something to keep in mind is where you're going to probably tie it is in the middle, and to keep your embellishments pretty flat there, or no embellishments. So that's a little tip there. The next easiest would be, so it would require no holes, but it would require some tucking, is the ribbon underneath the front and the back inside covers. And this is just a ribbon, and it would just tie right in the front center. So this would be the next easiest. So the only pre-planning is just to not lay your inside papers until you laid this down, because you're going to just tuck the ends underneath. Same idea with this one, but it ties, or actually I'm sorry, the ribbon is hiding underneath the front cover only. So it's hiding underneath the front right and the front left. And then the idea is that it loops around the left front, loops through the back, comes back around through the front right, and the one on the right front loops around through the back, comes back around to the left, and then you would tie each one. So it basically goes around a time and a half kind of a thing, and it ties in the front, center, and that would be it. The cool advantage of this one is that you don't have to worry about anything in the back, so you just only have to deal with the front. So this is another option. This is a similar idea, but in this case you need holes, and it always stays with you. So well, not always. I guess technically you could take these out of the holes, but it stays pretty much there. So you would just make 2 holes, and once you get into the holes, you could get a little fancier. I just wind up using my regular hole puncher, but you could get into your crocodile. I wind up using a Daiso crocodile-like. It's only $1.50. It's not as good, especially in cinching the washers, the eyelets, but it's not always consistently good. That's these guys right here. So like these guys, to make it look more professional, and also it withstands time a little bit better. So that would be better to do it that way. But it doesn't 100% always work, so I've had a few failures. The eyelets themselves you have to get from somewhere else, so I've gotten, I think, mine from Joann's. Eyelets and washers, I got mine from Wear Memory Keepers. I don't know if it was a packet of 40 or so for around $2, I think it was. So, and I can put the link below if it helps for anyone to shop for it. But in this case, if it's not too thick of a book, like in this case, it's only one signature. I just made the simple hole, like I said, with a regular hole punch. Regular reinforcers from the dollar store that I colored with, again, Tim Holtz Distress ink. And in this case, I just used a little bit of a strip of a leather, but you could use, again, the ribbon. And you're just going to bound it through the spine, front and back cover, and the string comes out from the inside covers, front and back, and then they tie again in the front center. So that would be, I guess, the third easiest way to do it. And then the next possibility is a Velcro. I haven't continued and finished this album, and if I did continue on, I'm sure I will reinforce the Velcro and add a couple of more. It doesn't complete, this is a pasta box, by the way, and so I kept the fourth side. Normally I cut that off, and most books don't have this portion still attached to it. You would have your spine, you would have your front and back cover, but normally you don't have anything here. But so in this case, Velcro works, although I would totally redo it thicker and longer because it got all these gap space right here. Or magnets would work as well. So this could be another option for a binding closing. And then the last one that I just did on my pink one is a button closure. And you want one with that loop hook that has a high profile so that the button stands out and above. And then on this side, you can either have a ribbon like this, or you could do a rubber band. And since I covered them with a pocket inside, I'm going to demonstrate on this would-be travel junk journal made out of a 6x9 manila folder. And I don't know exactly how everybody's doing it because I'm not exactly following everybody on junk journal junkies. But many of you have that pocket available to open and close, and then you cover the sheets on both the inside and the front panel. I just went ahead and closed it. I'm going to cover it with paper when all is said and done. And then I went and cut like a teeny tiny little strip right here off so that this is open. Therefore, I don't have to do any holes right here. I'm just going to do a hole here on the envelope. And I have a rubber band already strung through. But in this case, I just did a thin hole here. And it's a little bit, because I happen to have a heart-shaped, smaller hole punch. But you could definitely use a regular hole punch. So that's one hole here, one hole here. And I'm going to take this off. So all you want to do on the front side of it, you do want to go ahead and cover your paper, especially for the front. The back is not as important because, like I said, we're only going to handle the front inside cover. We're not going to deal with the outside here, so there's not going to be any holes anyways. But we're going to put the, let's see, I'm going to just do it from scratch. And you're just going to put your button with that loop right through the hole. And then you have two ways of looping and holding on to that button. You could either do a paper clip, and you separate the paper clip, you loop it through right here, and then you'll tape it down. But you're going to push that profile loop back up so that it comes to the front. I don't know if that makes sense there. And then you're going to tape it down with a good tape, like a packing tape, like this. But for demonstration, I'm just going to use the Scotch tape because I'm going to redo this and show you how to do it with that string. So that's one, and then you're going to cover it with paper, and it's going to be pretty flat. You're not going to feel that paper clip there. It's pretty good. So that's going to be your front. And then the second possibility, if you don't use a paper clip, is the string. And it can be any thread, string, even a thin yarn, a thin ribbon, anything. And just going to bend it into two, but you technically could just have it into one. But just to have double reinforcements, you're just going to thread it through the loop And hopefully it'll work pretty quickly. So you thread it through, and then you're going to tape both of these down here after pushing the loop back up. So the key is to have the loop mostly up as much as you can. With the paper clip, you're actually a little bit more restricted. With the thread, you can have it forced all the way up. It can be 100% up and swinging, and that's all fine. Like, really, that's totally fine. So you're going to tape it nice and neat with that packing tape, but this is just for demonstration's sake. I did the Scotch tape. So we want to do that first, because now we can determine how long we need that rubber band to be. So I don't want this much rubber band, so but we need to look at it with this in mind. So we're gonna loop it, and I can see it's like way too hanging. So I'm gonna undo it and pull back the rubber band a little bit, and that looks about right. Oops. Okay, let's call that correct. And then we're gonna, tape that down, and then all this will be covered with sheets of whatever we want here and the inside cover. So that is it, and that will be our closure like that. And it'll be a little more steady once we cover that. That's it. So, and here's that. I'll just take that off. So, and I just wanted to show one more thing, is how to break the paper clip so that you have that little thing hanging. And basically you just want to take a regular paper clip and just undo it, and then bend it a couple times back and forth until it breaks. And it shouldn't take too long, maybe 2-3 times or more, maybe. And that should be, because it's easier than cutting with scissors. At some point it will give and break. There we go. So that's how you break the paper clip, and you can either use the smaller or the bigger, depending on how big your button is and how big the book is. So that is what I wanted to share with you. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any other ideas, please leave them below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.